On day, Ethan, my boyfriend of 7 years, was publicly kissing his idealized first love. I stood behind them, stunned, my feet numb and aching. Just then, Caleb, his longtime rival, suddenly appeared. He said to me mockingly, "No thanks, you three can celebrate together." Although his words were unsettling, I caught a fleeting glimpse of concern in his eyes. After I sent Ethan a breakup message, I turned to the man behind me and asked, "Want to date?" I just broke up. It was Valentine's Day. Last night, I'd received his call. He told me he'd be busy in the lab all day. I was considerate and didn't bother him. Instead, I went to the other side of the city to buy him a steak dinner from his favorite restaurant, imagining he'd be starving after all his work. At that moment, the girl in his arms cast a provocative look my way, her arms tightly wrapped around Ethan's waist. Her eyes glistened with tears as she choked out, "Ethan, I'm sorry, you have a girlfriend. I shouldn't be doing this." Ethan hastily reached up to wipe away her tears, explaining in a rush, "No. She's just a stand-in for you. I've never liked her, I haven't even kissed her. How could she compare to you? Her only resemblance is that she looks a bit like you." I even feel disgusted holding her hand. I stood in the snow, my eyes cast down, my feet stinging from the cold. Not far away, Ashley's clear, pleasant laughter rang out. "Let's go, it's too cold here." Ethan wrapped his scarf around Ashley's neck. That scarf was one I'd knitted myself for his birthday. I didn't know how to knit originally. It took me 2 months to knit something decent, and my hands were covered in nicks and scrapes. Ethan was initially reluctant to wear it, but seeing the various wounds on my hands, he eventually put it on. Ashley stared at the initials of my name and Ethan's on the scarf for a few seconds, a faint smile playing on her lips. "This scarf is so ugly. Let's throw it away." Ethan paused, then replied, "Do whatever you want with it." Ashley took Ethan's hand, their fingers tightly intertwined, and they slowly walked away. Their shadows merged on the ground, like a couple growing old together. It wasn't until a clump of snow fell from a branch onto my head that I snapped out of my daze. I picked up the scarf, gently brushed off the snow, and then, I threw it into the trash can. Along with the matching ring Ethan had once given me, which was still on my finger. I had always known Ashley was Ethan's idealized first love. Whenever friends said I resembled Ashley, just a stand-in for her, I would throw a fit and argue endlessly with Ethan. I wanted to hear him say he was with me because he liked me, but he never did. He stood in the shadows, a cigarette dangling from his lips, looking at me with a frown. "They're just joking. Can't you take a joke? Let's break up." I sent Ethan a message. I didn't want to continue because the Ethan of today was completely unfamiliar compared to the one in my memories. There was no reply in the chat, of course, there wouldn't be. A message from a stand-in was hardly worth mentioning when the real person was in his arms. I sent another message, no reply within 3 hours means default. Things that are useless should be discarded early. I let out a long sigh, ready to leave, when a low voice came from behind me. "So our department's beauty queen is so humble? Don't be sad. You three can celebrate together." The mockery in his tone was obvious. I turned around to see Caleb, Ethan's nemesis, leaning against a tree, arms crossed, watching me. Our medical school's basketball team played against Ethan's bioengineering school, and his team had never won. As long as they didn't face the medical school, Ethan's team was number 1, but whenever they did, they were relegated to second place. Caleb's basketball skills were outstanding, yet he was always a gentleman to his opponents. He could win, but he always knew when to stop. Only when he played again. The bioengineering team did Caleb seem to flip a switch, playing with fierce intensity. Ethan once suspected their team had offended Caleb. He went to talk to Caleb, but Caleb didn't even give him a proper look, just turned and walked away. From then on, Ethan unilaterally held a grudge against him. What do you even like about such a good-for-nothing? Wait, wasn't Caleb rumored to be a cool, aloof guy who didn't meddle in others' business? Did he take the wrong medicine, insisting on teasing me? I felt myself breaking down a bit. I retorted, annoyed, "Why are you so gossipy, senior? Do you have a crush on Ethan or on me?" Driven by emotion, I immediately regretted the words as they left my mouth. I was about to find something to say to salvage the situation, but Caleb suddenly dropped his casual demeanor, and looked away. "Ethan's not a good guy. Be careful." Snow from the branches fell on my shoulder. He gently brushed it off, revealing his slender fingers. Such a reply, it truly made someone like me, who overthinks, imagine more. The air grew quiet. He curled his fingers, seemingly about to leave. On a whim, I said, "Senior, want to date? I just broke up." As soon as I got back to my dorm room, I received a call from Ethan. I answered, and his voice on the other end was urgent. Eleanor's condition has worsened. You need to come back with me. Without time to think, I quickly requested leave from my advisor and waited for Ethan to pick me up. Soon after I was born, my father had an affair. My mother and Ruth founded a company and raised me. Later, the company went bankrupt, my mother passed away, and Ruth took me to live in Riverbend. There, everyone could bully us. It was Eleanor who went to great lengths to find Ruth and me, protecting me as I grew up. Eleanor was both a benefactor and family to me. Ethan's car arrived. I habitually opened the passenger door, but I saw an elegantly dressed Ashley sitting inside. Skylar, don't be upset. Ethan and I ate too. Much earlier and I feel a bit carsick. You don't mind if I sit in front, do you? Before I could speak, Ethan frowned and said, Skylar, don't be unreasonable. What's wrong with you arguing about this now? I was just used to it. I was anxious to see Eleanor and didn't want to say much. I softly said, it's fine, you sit, and quickly got into the car. Seeing so compliant, Ethan felt uncharacteristically uneasy. A strange blockage formed in his chest, though he couldn't pinpoint why. How is Eleanor now? I urgently asked about her condition. Before could speak, Ashley interjected, Skylar, thank you for your concern. Eleanor will be fine. We'll handle it. The implication was that I was an outsider, and they were the family. Suppressing my anger, I ignored Ashley and sought an answer from Ethan. Ethan said, Eleanor's condition has worsened, and she's in the hospital now. The exact situation isn't clear, they just called us back. My heart felt constricted. Farewells always come, but I hoped it wouldn't be too soon. At the hospital, Eleanor had just been wheeled out of the operating room. The doctor said she was out of danger. My heart finally eased, but my eyes suddenly reddened. The family took Eleanor home and had a family doctor look after her. I also returned to Vance. Eleanor hadn't woken up yet. Patricia sat on the sofa, holding Ashley's hand. Ashley is becoming more beautiful and elegant. You two are truly a perfect match, Ethan. Ashley shyly acted demure, glancing at me as she said with feigned embarrassment, Auntie, what are you saying? Skylar is also very elegant. Patricia's expression shifted, and she said pointedly, the position of Mrs. Vance isn't for just anyone. Anyway, we'd already broken up. This lousy position, whoever wants it can have it. I didn't want to argue and cause trouble for Eleanor. Ethan walked over, carrying a plate of washed strawberries. Patricia grinned from ear to ear. Ethan never washes fruit for anyone else. He must really like Ashley. Ashley also lowered her head and smiled. I didn't expect Ethan to remember I love strawberries the most. Patricia was right, Ethan had never washed fruit for me. He had even made me wash fruit for Ashley with cold water during my period. Still his idealized first love. I couldn't help but sigh at his devotion. Patricia seemed to fear I hadn't been provoked enough and added, Ethan really has no sense. When feeding fruit to someone you like, you should feed it to them. I felt Ethan glance at me. Mom, oh, what's there to be embarrassed about? Don't make the girl uncomfortable. Ashley's face grew even redder. Ethan hesitated, then still took a strawberry and offered it to Ashley's lips. Ashley delicately bit the tip of the strawberry, eating with great elegance. Patricia was even happier. The best part for his favorite, you eat the rest, hurry up. Ethan looked at me again. 3 hours had long passed. I sat in the corner, playing on my phone, completely unfazed. He wasn't my boyfriend anymore, after all. Seeing lack of reaction, the inexplicable emotion Ethan had felt in the car earlier resurfaced. Ethan's eyes subtly changed. He stared at Skylar's face and slowly ate the remaining half of the strawberry, but never once looked up at them. Just then, the family doctor came out and said Eleanor had woken up. Everyone rushed into Eleanor's room, surrounding her. I was inadvertently pushed out. I clenched my fists, but there was nothing I could do. In the living room, Ashley slowly walked up to me from behind. I've held my place for so long, so if you know what's good for you, stop clinging to Ethan. You've seen it yourself, Ethan and his parents only like me. Don't you feel ashamed, acting like a clown? Then she chuckled softly, oh, I forgot. A daughter from a small, bankrupt family just has no shame. Convinced I wouldn't dare do anything to her, she leaned her face closer, her gaze sweeping up and down me. You're like a stray dog. Now, wagging your tail and begging for scraps after someone kicks you away. Watching her triumphant smile, I said, truly noble people wouldn't care about someone like me. And for a stray dog to make Miss act so desperate and ugly, I swept my gaze back, scoffing, you're nothing special. Slap. A slap landed on my face. What gives you the right to speak to me like that? I was still reeling, my head spinning. Suddenly, Ashley's gaze locked onto my wrist. She seized my hand and lifted it. Why is this bracelet on your wrist? The jealousy and malice in her eyes were unconcealed. My heart tightened, and I instinctively moved to protect the bracelet on my wrist. This is the Vance family's heirloom bracelet, passed down to the wives. Why is it on your hand? Ashley frantically tried to pull the bracelet off my wrist. She must have misunderstood, I quickly said. This was left to me by my grandmother. It has nothing to do with the Vance family you're talking about. My hand was clutched so tightly it hurt. You're lying. I wouldn't be mistaken. You stole this, didn't you? In that instant, the bracelet was ripped off, falling to the ground and breaking into two pieces. Buzz. My mind went blank. Before my brain could fully process it, I was already grabbing Ashley by her collar and slapping her 3 times. My hand trembled slightly. I didn't even know how much force I'd used. Ashley's screams finally drew everyone from upstairs. Ethan was the first to rush down and shield Ashley. Skylar, are you out of your mind? Patricia, who came down next, walked up and backhanded me. Both slaps landed on the same side of my face. It hurt like hell. I got 2 slaps, she got 3, and she even broke my bracelet. She really won out. Eleanor struck her cane forcefully against the floor, and everyone fell silent. Skylar, Eleanor called me. I crouched down, picked up the bracelet, and, head bowed, slowly walked upstairs and knelt gently by Eleanor's bed. Tears dropped. Eleanor. I was wrong. Eleanor gently stroked my head. My good Skylar, what were you wrong about? I wiped my tears and looked up at Eleanor. I was wrong for getting too close to Ethan, and wrong for not protecting the bracelet my grandmother gave me. Ashley and the others also came upstairs. I just thought the bracelet was pretty and wanted to look at it a bit more. It's my fault I broke it. I'll apologize to you. Ashley cried like a wilting pear blossom in Ethan's arms. Skylar, you were too unreasonable today. If wanted to see it, you should have just shown her. None of this would have happened. Besides, if the bracelet's gone, it's gone. The estate has plenty of bracelets like that. There's no need to say such things to Eleanor. Skylar, grow up. Ethan looked down at me and said. Eleanor softly spoke, Ashley. Ashley's face lit up with joy, thinking Eleanor sympathized with her and was siding with her. She quickly knelt by Eleanor's bed. Eleanor, she sweetly said. The next second, she froze. Eleanor said, you're mistaken. You're neither Ethan nor Skylar. What kind of granddaughter of mine are you? Eleanor took out a box containing a bracelet that looked very similar to the one I had just broken. If this old hag isn't mistaken, did you think the bracelet on Skylar's hand was the Vance family heirloom? Ashley's guilt was evident. Isn't it? I had thought about giving this bracelet to Skylar, but she didn't want it. The one you broke was left to Skylar by her deceased grandmother. Skylar hit you. Do you think she should have? Ashley's face turned ashen. Forcing her to publicly admit she deserved to be hit was worse than killing her. But this was Eleanor, she had to comply. She should have. Eleanor closed the box. From now on, don't come to Vance again. Ashley frantically said, Eleanor, I was wrong, Elia. With one look from Eleanor, Ashley was let out. Eleanor then looked at Patricia. Patricia, do you still think Skylar was wrong now? Patricia's face W. as a mix of green and yellow. At that moment, she didn't dare defy Eleanor. She stammered, and no, she wasn't wrong. Then apologize for the slap you just gave Skylar. Patricia's pupils constricted. Apologize publicly to a provincial girl? Patricia clenched her fists, thinking, that old hag, why won't she just die? Ethan came to mediate. Let it go, Eleanor. Mom didn't do it on purpose, and Skylar isn't completely blameless. What was Skylar wrong about? Cough, 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 Eleanor. That's enough. Enough. Eleanor's health was already poor. I shouldn't provoke her further. It was already the next morning when I left Vance. As soon as I got out of the car, I saw Caleb standing at the school entrance. He looked like he was waiting for someone. He walked straight towards me, and froze when he saw my swollen face. He froze so obviously. Was I really that ugly? The family did this? Caleb's voice was cold. I quickly said, it was just a fight. I threw the first punch. After I spoke, Caleb seemed somewhat lost in thought. Perhaps sensing I didn't want to elaborate, he said after a silence, what you said last night. Dead memories suddenly assaulted me. After I said those words last night, Caleb had visibly paused. He frowned at me, not speaking for a long time. I just assumed I'd been impulsive for a moment and awkwardly laughed it off, then left, not noticing the gaze that lingered behind me for a long time. Bringing it up now made me even more embarrassed. Ahaha, I was just kidding. Don't take it seriously. Caleb's handsome brows furrowed again. Kidding? I didn't know if it was my imagination, but he sounded a little unhappy. But I didn't have time to dwell on it, as Caleb dropped an even bigger bomb. Then can I pursue you? Huh? What? It's embarrassing to admit, but for years I'd been revolving around Ethan, and hardly anyone had ever confessed their feelings to me. At this moment, I didn't know what to say. I like you. Can I pursue you? Caleb's serious expression didn't seem fake. I'll take that as a yes. Huh? Your face. Let's go to the hospital first. The doctor prescribed some medicine for external injuries. Caleb sat on a bench and applied the ointment for me. Every time he touched my face, I winced in pain. The next second, a gentle, cool breeze touched my cheek, and suddenly it didn't hurt as much. I looked up. Caleb was blowing on it. He looked at me and said softly, blow on it, and it won't hurt as much. In that moment of eye contact, the sparse winter sunlight spilled from behind him, making even his eyelashes seem tender. My heart skipped a beat. I blinked. Why did everyone love saying that phrase? After applying the medicine, Caleb packed up and asked, are you hot? Your ears are all red. On the way back, he asked again, can we have lunch together tomorrow? I agreed. My mother had already passed away when I was in middle school, and my grandmother took me to study in Riverbend. I was often bullied and often got into fights. Once, after school, I was cornered by a group of people and couldn't fight them off. Someone helped me fight them. He took down a dozen people by himself. There was no other way to describe it. He was a tough, handsome guy. That day, he took me to treat my wounds. Hydrogen peroxide sizzled as it was poured on. I was in so much pain that tears welled up. He looked at me, then blew on it, saying, blow on it, and it won't hurt as much. Perhaps it was psychological, but his eyes were sparkling that day. After that, I secretly followed him every day. Because no one bothered me when I was near him. He knew I was following him, but he never acknowledged me. During the day, he played games at the internet, and I did my homework there. When he got into fights, I bought him bandages. In the evenings, I followed him to his doorstep. He'd go home, and I'd run back to my place as fast as I could. But within a few days, he started swinging by my neighborhood after school before going home. I didn't know what he was doing, but it suited me perfectly. At the start of my third year of middle school, he disappeared and moved away. Strangely enough, after he left, no one ever bothered me again. In my second year of high school, Eleanor brought me back to Harborview, where I met Ethan. He looked too much like the person from my memories. Ethan taught me to ride a bicycle, and I fell. He looked at my scraped knee, smiled, and with an upward lilt in his voice said, I'll blow on it for you. In that instant, my heart pounded. After lunch with Caleb, he went to pay while I went to the restroom. In the restroom, there was an unexpected figure, Ashley. I pretended not to see her and tried to leave, but she stepped forward and blocked the only exit. Skylar, you were pretty smug last time, weren't you? She ran her finger over my face. I really underestimated you. Your tactics are so dirty, playing the victim and using that old hag? I frowned, pushing her hand away in disgust. Her face distorted slightly as she leaned closer. Do you think just because I was kicked out of Vance, you can take my place? Dream on. Ethan only likes me. He specifically brought me out today to cheer me up because I was upset. He doesn't care about you at all. My anger began to rise. I narrowed my eyes at her. Ethan and I are long over. As for you, I'll settle the score with you about the bracelet eventually. I don't have time to deal with you today, so get lost. I lifted my foot to leave, but Ashley grabbed my hand, then deliberately fell to the ground. I was amused. What era was this? Only an idiot would fall for such a trick. Just then, the idiot arrived. The moment Ethan saw Skylar, he felt a strange sense of happiness. Skylar's unusual behavior at Vance a few days ago had made him uncomfortable. But now, Skylar standing here definitely meant she had tracked them because he brought Ashley out, which was exactly like her. Ethan just knew that Skylar couldn't do without him. Ethan, I just wanted to apologize to Skylar about what happened last time, and she pushed me away. Ashley held out her bleeding hand, choking. She even scratched me. Ethan helped her up and looked at Skylar. Skylar, I know you don't like how good I am to Ashley, but there's nothing going on between us. You don't need to constantly target her. Listen, I promise I'll go with you to that Western restaurant we always go to tomorrow. I didn't know what bug had bitten Ethan, but seeing Ashley's constantly changing expression, I almost burst out laughing. First, I didn't push her, nor did I scratch her. Second, I like Chinese food. Finally, you've already kissed, so just be together. Saying nothing is going on? I'm tired of watching you two prance around like monkeys every day. I tried to leave again, but he stopped me. What do you mean? If's hand wasn't scratched by you, did she do it herself? Why are you so scheming? After all that, he only heard the part about Ashley? Caleb's cold, low voice cut in. Skylar has nothing on her hands. The only thing that could cause a scratch is the ring on Ashley's finger. To bully our Skylar so openly, the Vance family's upbringing is truly excellent. Impossible, Skylar has a ring, Ethan instinctively retorted, but his voice trailed off when he saw my bare finger. He lowered his voice. Skylar, where's the ring? I threw it away. Ethan's heart skipped a beat. What do you mean? Aren't you two getting together? Why would I keep that thing? Do you think your esteemed idealized first love would want my discards? Well, you'll have to go look for it. I'm not sure if it's already been taken to the landfill. Who said we were getting together? Ethan said instinctively. That one sentence stunned 4 people. Ashley's face was the most unpleasant. Ethan, what are you saying? Ethan didn't know what he was thinking. He seemed to not hear Ashley, just staring fixedly at Caleb. Why are you here with him? Ashley's face was utterly grim. She tugged at Ethan's clothes. Ethan, my hand really hurts. Let's go. Ethan stared at Caleb, but his words were directed at me. Come to Maplewood tonight. I'll be waiting for your explanation. On the way back, Caleb tilted his head and smiled at me. He's treating me like a rival, isn't he? What should I do? I don't even have a title yet. I chuckled lightly. Just go for it. Let me think, Caleb said seriously. That bracelet of yours, I know someone who might be able to fix it. Want to try? I stopped and looked at him. How did you know? You've worn that bracelet since you were little. If you suddenly stopped wearing it, I can't think of any other reason besides it being broken. Suddenly, as if remembering something else, his voice turned cold. Was it broken at Vance? Hearing the first part of his sentence, something flashed in my mind, but the latter part brought me back to reality. I said softly, yes. Thank you for the trouble. Caleb returned to his smiling demeanor. No trouble at all. I can't guarantee it, but it's worth a try. Then he asked, what if it can't be fixed? I blinked, a little confused. I didn't know. His voice continued, when the bracelet is with you, it means your grandmother and mother are protecting you. If it broke, it means you've grown up. You can live well even without their protection. Loved ones always have to leave, they can't be by your side forever. But memories can. He gestured vaguely towards my heart. As long as the memories are there, they'll always be with you. I stared blankly at him. He gazed into the distance, then lowered his eyes to look at me. So, it's okay if it can't be fixed. Your loved ones will always be with you. I chuckled softly. How could I have ever thought Caleb was him? He would never say so much. I looked up, sincerely saying, thank you. Caleb watched me, smiling. Skylar, are you always this polite to your admirers? No sooner had he spoken than he added, hey. Aren't you hot? Your ears are really red. I let out a breath. The gloom of the past few days vanished, replaced by an unfamiliar, strange feeling. At 10 in the evening, Ethan's call came through. My face was a mask of confusion. Skylar, my patience has limits. Get over here within 10 minutes. Oh, I'd completely forgotten what Ethan had said that afternoon. Who do you think you are, ordering me around? I'll give you 10 minutes to go run into a wall. Are you going to do it? Skylar, what has gotten into you? Acting like this will only make me detest you even more. Ashley's voice chimed in just then. Ethan, don't be angry. Skylar just made a mistake and fooled around with other men. If we guide her well, she'll surely realize her mistake. Skylar, girls should have some self-respect. Don't degrade yourself so casually. How loving they were, day and night, practically glued together. I laughed. Right, a self-respecting girl wouldn't be kissing someone who's already taken. Are you that desperate for a man, Ashley? Ashley was so furious she couldn't speak. Ethan said angrily, Skylar, look how crude your language is now. I told you it's not what you think. What will it take for you to leave Ashley alone? There's a limit to how jealous you can be. Ethan, are you out of your damn mind? Who called me? Who's not letting go of whom? Who I'm with has nothing to do with either of you. We broke up, yet you two cling to me every day. Aren't you pathetic? Wow, are you two secretly crushing on me? Sorry, this lady is not interested. After that, I hung up. When said he'd pursue me, he really took it seriously. If my closeness makes you uncomfortable, you can tell me to stop anytime. These past few days, I often thought it would be quite nice if life could just continue like this. No idiotic manipulative girls bothering me, just a handsome guy by my side. It was shallow, but incredibly satisfying. Perhaps even the person from my memories, I could gradually let go of. Caleb said the bracelet repair results were in. One good piece of news, one bad. The good news is the bracelet is fixed. The bad news is, you might never be able to wear it. The bracelet was repaired, but only superficially. It looked flawless. In reality, it remained fragile. If I were to wear it daily like an ordinary bracelet, it would eventually break again. And then, the possibility of repairing it again would be even smaller. I looked at the almost perfectly intact bracelet and felt very happy. It didn't matter. I would frame it and keep it at home. My mother and grandmother would stay at home, watching me move forward with determination. I turned to Caleb, grinning at him. Caleb, let's date. After our date that day, Caleb walked me to my dorm building. Capital City had been gradually warming up lately, not as cold as before. Caleb stood still, quietly watching me. We were very close, and he just looked down at me like that. I instantly knew what he wanted to do. His voice was a little hoarse. May I? I lowered my eyes, not daring to look at him, then lightly tiptoed to touch his lips, a fleeting kiss before I stepped back down. He wrapped his arm around my waist, lowered his head, and took the lead. Who would understand? After being a doormat for so many years, I didn't even know how to kiss. Luckily, Caleb wasn't very good at it either. But how did he get so good so quickly? My legs went weak, and I could barely stand. He held my waist with one hand and supported my head with the other, while I clung to his shirt, breathing erratically. Amidst our gasps, a biting wind swept through. Caleb pulled me aside, shielding me, as Ethan's fist slammed into the tree. Caleb, you're asking for a fight, daring to steal my girl. Caleb stood in front of me, his eyes unreadable. Steal your girl? Who? Ashley? Sorry, I'm not interested. Ethan's eyes were practically devouring him. Stop playing dumb. Skylar doesn't like you at all. She's always liked M. E. It wasn't until Skylar mentioned breaking up in their last call that Ethan realized something was wrong. He opened his phone and saw Skylar's latest message. Break up, no reply in 3 hours means default. His heart suddenly seized with panic. Skylar's strange behavior these past few days all made sense now. Ethan remembered the way the guy next to Skylar had looked at her that day, and his heart clenched. Impossible, he quickly dismissed the thought. It was clear Skylar had intentionally chosen a restaurant affiliated with his family that day, deliberately making him run into them. It was all to mess with his head. The so-called breakup was also Skylar's way of trying to anger him. Given past actions, this was perfectly in line with her character. Ethan tried to comfort himself, but the unease in his heart grew heavier. Skylar, I was wrong. You don't need to involve him in some act just to anger me. I know you don't like me being too close to Ashley, and I swear I won't be again. Please come back with me. Seeing you two like that just now, I almost went crazy. Caleb's eyes gradually turned cold. I took Caleb's hand and looked at Ethan. I'm not acting. It's exactly as you saw, we're together. Kissing between a couple is perfectly normal. It won't stop just because you don't like it. The words together, couple, and kissing provoked Ethan. Skylar, I truly know I was wrong. I thought I liked Ashley, but then I saw your breakup message that day, and I realized I had fallen for you a long time ago. I was the one deceiving myself and hurting you. Can we start over? Ethan's eyes reddened, and he pleaded with me. I said sternly, your regret now is just because the person who was always flattering you suddenly left, and you're not used to it. I have a boyfriend now. You should leave. I stood on tiptoe and lightly kissed Caleb's lips, then prepared to go upstairs. Ethan suddenly rushed forward and grabbed my hand. Bang! Caleb kicked him to the ground. He grabbed Ethan by the collar, his eyes still filled with menace. If you bother us again, the Caleb family has plenty of ways to put you away. In my dorm room, I sat blankly for a long time. I didn't like Ethan that much. The flutter of my heart when I first saw him made me overlap him with the person in my memories. But over time, I already knew they weren't the same person. The regret and longing in my heart intensified every time I saw Ethan. This was painful, but at Vance, I couldn't avoid seeing him. So I resigned myself, thinking I would just pretend he was that person. I was almost absurdly good to Ethan. Every time he hurt me because of Ashley, I would vaguely feel a sense of relief. Sinking and yet lucid, I lived a truly ridiculous life. As for Caleb, I seemed to really like him. So much so that I rarely thought of the person from my memories anymore. I saw Ashley again a month later. I hadn't expected her to look so haggard. Skylar, Ethan's gone crazy. Please save me. I dodged her outstretched hand. He used the Vance family's influence to make all companies reject me. He took back all my cards. Now I have nowhere to go. Please save me. Ashley had been living with Ethan since returning to the country. Even her living expenses were provided by him. Now that Ethan didn't want her anymore, she had nowhere to go. She knelt down, begging me. I crouched down and smiled at her. Didn't you say Ethan liked you a lot? Go beg him then. No, I was wrong before. I can kowtow to you, please. I watched her, numb. The power of the Vance's businesses meant nothing here. She could have gone to another city to find work, or taken an entry-level job in capital city. But she did none of that. She'd rather beg me here, completely devoid of dignity, than humble herself and work diligently. I stood up, looked down at her, my expression one of disgust. What made you mistakenly believe I'm a saint? You've come to the wrong person. I'll only find you in my way. I too turned to leave, but then I saw Caleb, who had appeared behind me at some point. My body stiffened. He wouldn't think I looked ugly, would he? After all, he's such a good person. I thought you were going to help her, Caleb said on the way back. I stopped in my tracks. After all, I was no longer the Skylar who was still trapped in the past. I liked him, but I also accepted this version of myself. The way she is now, she's actually getting off easy, Caleb finished. I'm sorry, I take back what I just thought. Even after all these years, our Skylar is still the same Skylar from the beginning. Caleb draped an arm over my shoulder, smiling freely at me. What did you say? I looked at him. What? You said after all these years. Caleb seemed to remember then. That's right, I knew you'd forgotten about me. In junior high, you were like a tag-along, always trailing behind me, but then you completely forgot about me once we got to high school. Watching's relaxed expression in the sunlight, a realization dawned on me. All those puzzling questions I had ignored suddenly had answers. What I thought was a sudden pursuit was, in fact, a love hidden for many years. Caleb. He turned back, still with a smile in his eyes. Kiss me. Another week later, Eleanor called me back to the Vance. Patricia embezzled company funds, and there's a lot of resentment throughout the company. She's being sued. I have no intention of helping her. I didn't know why Eleanor was telling me all this. Ethan is completely demoralized now, utterly incapable of taking on great responsibilities. I'm also getting old, and I want to entrust this company to you. Eleanor looked at me seriously. Skylar, I know my capabilities and your mother's. I believe in you. Don't feel pressured. To me, you've long been like my own granddaughter. Speaking of Ethan, he was Eleanor's only grandson, and seeing him like this, I felt an indescribable sensation. As if she knew what I was thinking, Eleanor sighed. You control your own destiny. Those who reap what they sow must bear the consequences themselves. Skylar, just be yourself. Caleb is a good boy. If you two support each other, I will be very pleased. Watching's kindly smile, my tears flowed like a bursting dam. Eleanor, I won't disappoint you. With the arrival of spring, everyone's life would turn to a new chapter. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comment section. Feel free to share your views, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.